This is Alva, this one. Everybody can see the names beside the diagrams. This is Alva, ULVA, Alva indica. This is the algae name, okay? And this is the Spirogyra. Just I showed that that's the Spirogyra. Then this is Volvox, I already told. And this is Clarophora. And Chlamydomonas is another name. So these are all names of algae, okay? Just the nouns, the names of algae. Okay, so that completes the morphology, nutrition, and reproductive phases of algae microorganisms. So basic point is, what are algae? Algae are not plants. Algae are not animals. Even they are not even bacteria or virus. Algae are a different group of microorganisms. That's all. Okay. Now we'll get into fungi.
Ma'am, can algae cause harm?
Most of the algae are having a good economic importance, but some algae may become poisonous if they are taken as food. See, we won't take algae as food. Mushrooms, fungus we take as food in India, but in China-like countries, they eat algae. So along with noodles and all. So algae is an...
Ma'am, is there any disease caused by algae?
Not exactly, not like infection. Algae cannot cause infection as of. Disease causing is by infection is not possible through algae. Okay, Akshat? But
Yes,
taking algae as food sometimes may give allergic reactions and food poisoning. So because they are inhabiting aquatic environment, if the aquatic environment is polluted, so obviously the organisms living in it may get poisonous. So in that way, taking in algae may cause diseases, but not through infection. Through infection is basically what we see in bacterial infection, viral infection. That's not possible with algae. So if you intake the algae as food, which is grown in a polluted environment, that may cause allergic reaction and disease condition, but not by infection. When you take fungi, fungi are also not plants, not animals. They are a different group. Again, the fungus looks like a plant body because I had taken the mushroom, because everybody knows the fungus basically mushroom. But all mushrooms are fungi, but all fungi are not mushroom. Understand the statement? Got the statement? All the fungi are not mushrooms. This,
we know that mushrooms are fungi, so people think that the only fungi present is mushroom.
Yeah, close to the answer, Akshat. Yes. Only fungi are mushrooms, people may think. Ronak, you understood but not able to explain. Yeah, I got it. You know the idea, but in terms of sentences, couldn't be able to frame it. I got you, Ronak. Yes, Akshat, you are very close to the answer. So see, when such statement is given, what that indicates is fungi, you are having various other forms which are not mushrooms. Means see, yeast, you'd have heard, that is a kind of fungi. And bread mold, you'd have heard this, bread mold. This is also a kind of fungi. So yeast and bread mold are not mushrooms. Mushrooms are different. So all fungi are not mushrooms. Some fungi may be yeast cells, some fungi may be bread mold, or some fungi may be some other forms. I'll give that different names of fungi also, like algae. Okay, so mushroom are an example of fungi. One example of fungi. But all mushrooms are fungi. What that statement indicates that all the mushrooms are fungi. No mushroom can be algae or bacteria. Understood? If you revert the same sentence, all mushrooms are fungi. Means mushroom can be only fungi. There are no algal mushroom. There are no viral mushroom. There are no bacterial mushroom. Okay? And this statement, this very statement, all fungi are not mushrooms. Means fungi are there which may be other than mushrooms. Mushroom is one example. That's all. You are having yeast, bread mold and all. Now when you take the fungi inhabitant, most of the fungi inhabitant, first we'll talk the inhabitant. means where they live generally. Most of the fungi will live in moist and damp places. What's the difference between moist and damp? Moist is nothing but you will be having water content for the growth of any microorganism. Fungi is a microorganism. Remember the basic concept. Algae is a microorganism. Likewise, fungi is a microorganism. Okay. Damp places which is very shady. Most of the sunlight is not available, and most of the time it will be very watery and mud. That place we call as damp, isn't it? So moist and damp place is the inhabit of fungi. Now when you take fungi, they are not plant, not even animal. Okay, like algae only. Fungi are a different group of microorganisms. Now when you take fungi, when you are saying fungi almost they looks like a plant, but they are having close association with animal. How you can say they are having some resemblance with animal cell, and how you can say they are different from animal cell? They are definitely not plant. How? Someone can say, I'm saying fungi are not plants. How? Isn't it, guys? Photosynthesis is the one which categorizes any organism as a plant. So here fungi will not carry out photosynthesis, so they are not autotrophs. One point of nutrition already came. They are not autotrophs. If they are not autotrophs, they should be definitely heterotrophs, isn't it? So fungi are heterotrophs. How they carry out nutrition, that we'll see in the next slide. Now here when you take fungi are not plant, they will not have the photosynthetic unit. They cannot prepare their own food material. So fungi are not plants. They are different organisms. Now they are having some similarity. No, they are not animals. They are having some similarity. I'll explain, Ronak. See here. There is a similarity and there is a difference. We'll first see what is the similarity between an animal and a fungi. When you take the fungi cell wall, the wall around each cell in fungus, is made up of a substance called chitin. Understand the word chitin? So here chitin is a substance which generally is noted as N-acetyl glucosamine. Have you heard this kind of word anywhere else? I think I explained these words in bacterial cell wall. You remember? N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay. Now when you take the chitin, which is a material made up of this chemical called N-acetyl glucosamine, and this chitin material which is there in the cell wall of fungi is similar to the body of arthropoda. Arthropoda, you know anything about arthropoda? Animal group of in animal kingdom where cockroaches like organisms are included. When you see the cockroach body, it will be having hard coat on the surface of the cockroach body. That hard coat is nothing but chitin. One example I have given here. Likewise, so many other animals, so many other animal cells are possessing chitin material in their cell wall. The same chitin material which you find in most of the animals, we'll see in fungi here. Okay. So when you take the mushroom, if you touch the mushroom surface anytime when your mom is cooking, so the mushroom surface will be soft and at the same time it is somewhat hard. You have to pluck it off, isn't it? So that is because of made up of chitin. So this is the similarity between fungi and animal. Other than that, there is no similarity. Like see, animals, they will go for locomotion, isn't it? They'll go by walk, isn't it? But fungi, they cannot. Like if you say the yeast or the bread mold or for example mushroom, all are stationary. So likewise you are having various differences between fungi and the animal. And similarity, this point you have to understand because this is important. Similarity between fungi and animal cell. Fungal cell wall is made up of a material called chitin. Okay. Now the chitin material is nothing but N-acetyl glucosamine chemical. This compound you will find in group of animals in arthropoda. Arthropoda is a name of group of animals, which includes cockroach-like organisms. Okay, and cockroach body cell wall also the same compound you'll find. The same compound you'll find in fungi. Not only cockroaches, there's so many examples. For instance, I gave the cockroach example. This is the best example everyone know. That's why I gave. Okay, so this is the similarity of fungi with animal cell, and how we cannot conclude fungi as plant because it is a heterotroph. Okay, that best explains fungi is not a plant, not an animal. This is a different category of microorganism, fungi, or the morphology. When you take the structure, the fungus structure, we'll call it as mycelium. What is it? Mycelium. Mycelium is nothing but on a bread, if you observe, I'll show the picture, you may get better idea. Yes, here it is. Can you see the slide, everyone? See, this is a kind of yeast.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Yeah, yeast which was left over for 3 to 4 hours on a floor. Okay, so here this whole thing is yeast. Okay, now this is called mycelium in biology. The yeast cell grows continuously and they'll form a network like this, which we call as mycelium. Okay.
Ma'am, I've heard of a thing called medusoid mycelium. Is that real?
Medusoid mycelium is something different concept. Mycelium, yes.
Is it like a type of mycelium?
Actually, I'll explain that. When you take the fungus cell body will be like this. This whole thing is called hyphae. Okay. Now, when the hyphae, the whole hyphae grows, it forms like this. The white color part that is showed in magnification 20 micrometers. So this is mycelium. So mycelium is nothing but a mat-like structure. Okay. Now, when you take the word mat-like structure, this can be used, the mycelium word can be used in different contexts. As of Akshat said, medusoid mycelium. Medusoid mycelium is not at all related to fungus. Okay. Medusa, polyp, these are the words which are used in animal kingdom. Animal kingdom, especially Cnidaria. Best example of this animal kingdom organism everyone know is Hydra. I hope you would have heard this word, Hydra. Or another example I'll give, corals. I hope everybody know corals.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the Hydra and the corals, all these are under Cnidaria animal group. Now when you take corals or Hydra, their body exists in different forms. It may be in polyp form or medusa form. This is the body structure name, polyp, medusa. So when you take Hydra, in Hydra the medusa form will be in the format of mat. So in the underground of the ocean, under ocean or deep seas, these Hydra-like organisms, which are animals actually, these animals, the medusa, will form a mat-like structure under the ocean and under the seabed. So those are called medusoid mycelium. You got the difference, Akshat? Mycelium is a general term which can be used in any context, not with fungi, which forms mat-like structure. That's all called as mycelium. So I just deviated from the topic so that in animals also you will find the mycelium structure, but it's not only with fungus structure. The fungi may be again unicellular or multicellular, like algae. And definitely all fungi are eukaryotes. There is no prokaryotic fungi. Okay, remember the cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria is a blue-green algae, which is a prokaryotic algae. Remember that, very important one. Okay. Now, but fungi, all fungi are eukaryotic only. They may be unicellular and maybe multicellular. And when we come to unicellular, the best example everybody know about unicellular fungi is yeast. I'm giving the biological name of yeast. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. That's the biological name of yeast. Okay. Now, other than yeast, bread mold. Another example. When you take the remaining multicellular fungi, you may take different examples like mushroom and all. So mushroom is the best example of multicellular fungus. Okay, remember which is multicellular algae, which are unicellular algae, which are the examples under unicellular fungi, what are the multicellular fungi examples. All these I'll give at the end of the session in the format of blanks. Okay, so this is how the structural aspect related to fungi. Now, when you take the fungus are not plant and animal, so their nutrition is different. That's what we said. Now, when you take the nutritional aspect of fungus, the fungal nutrition generally is heterotrophy. Heterotrophy means they'll depend on other sources for their nutrition. When you take other sources, most of the fungi are saprophytes.
Ma'am, organism which takes the nutrition from
dead and decaying matter, isn't it? So, when you take saprophytes are the organisms which depend on dead and decaying matter. It may be animal body or it may be plant body. Okay. So there you will find most of the mushrooms will grow there. Best example, which is a saprophyte. Other than saprophyte, you're having a word called lichens. Have you heard this word? Lichens. Lichens, here we are talking about nutrition in fungi. Clear with that point of difference. Nutrition of fungi, they may be heterotrophs, and under heterotrophs, saprophytes are the few fungi which will live on dead and decaying matter. Example, mushroom. Other than mushroom, we are talking about other than mushroom. Other than mushroom, some of the fungi may be in association. What kind of association we are calling? It's a mutual association. Ronak, you know what does mean by lichen? Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead. No problem. Still.
Lichens are the organisms that are produced by the hyphae of the fungi.
Not exactly. I'll explain now. See, lichens are the ones which possess a mutual association between algae and fungi. See, algae are a different microorganism and fungi are different microorganisms. These two microorganisms will come together and they live together. Such structures are called lichens. So saprophytic heterotrophy is not the only nutrition for fungi. There is a different nutrition in the form of lichens. Lichens, I'll give a best example. See, the old walls or the monuments of old walls, they'll be having some greenery structure over there on the walls. And some walls will be very rough. The greenery structures on the old walls are kind of algae. But very rough bulged stones on old walls are called lichens. Okay, they'll be rough habitat where the algae and fungi will come together and they'll have a mutual association. Here mutual association is nothing but algae will depend on fungi and fungi will depend on algae for their continuation of life. So this we call a term by name symbiosis. So symbiosis is a kind of living. Yes, Ronak, symbiotic relationship. So symbiosis is mutual association. The algae and fungi, it's not like a parasite and host causing diseases like bacteria getting into the body of animal, something like, not that association. That is a harmful association. This is a mutual, very friendly association where algae and fungi, they will reciprocate each other for their needs. You got the point? They'll reciprocate each other for their needs, and they are called lichens. This process is called symbiosis. So under nutrition of fungi, you will have heterotrophy, saprophytes, and symbiotic association with algae. So this is about fungi. Any doubt with the lichen?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, are lichens parasite or saprophytes?
No, they're not. They're not parasite. They're not saprophytes. They are a different category. Okay, they are a different category related to symbiosis. Symbiosis is not a partnership where one gets favorable condition and other gets harmed. The parasitic relationship is so. When you take bacterial infection, the bacteria will infect an individual and causes harm to the individual, and the bacteria gets its food from the individual, isn't it? That's a parasitic association, which is quite different from symbiosis. Symbiosis, here the mutual association is symbiosis, where both will get benefited. No one will be harmed.